everybody, Dave Nassy here with Next Level Guitar, and here we go with another great installment in our acoustic alternate tuning series. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about DADGAD. I'm going to give you my spin on it here. There's so much we can do with this tuning, and we can interpret it in a lot of different ways, so we're just going to dive right on in. We're going to show you some fun ways to do some alternate tunings, and we're going to show you ways to play the chords, but more importantly, ways for you to get lost at home and come up with your own songs and just enjoy the tunings and really take a new look at what we can do with our acoustic guitar. So here we go. Let's go ahead and talk about some chords. So first off, just to say the tuning, right, just we'll put that in there one more time in case you haven't seen the previous video that was already done. From low to high, we have our 6th string tuned down to D. We have our 5th string tuned down to A. Our 4th string is tuned down to D. There's our DAD. And then we're going to start with, of course, we have a G for our 3rd string. And we have an A for our B string. And then we have a D for our high E string. So that gives us our DADGAD tuning. Has a really nice sound to it when we ring it open. So what I want to do first off is just show you how to play some really nice open chords within this. And we'll go through some various positions and we'll try to cover quite a few chords for you today. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to talk about ways that we can play a D major chord with this tuning. The really great thing about this is each one is very subtle and different when we move our fingers, but they all have their own unique sound to them. So take a look at what I got going on here. I've got my 3rd finger on the 4th string, 3rd fret, and my index finger on the 3rd string and the 2nd fret. And I can strum the entire guitar, and I'm going to get that really nice full D major tonality. I would say from a practice point of view, what you want to make sure and do is really keep that thumb back there, you know, this fat part of your thumb on the neck, so you can arch your fingers and stay on the fingertips as best as you're possible and not brush any of those other strings. I could change this very subtly by just putting even my pinky or my 3rd finger. I'm going to go with my pinky. And that's on the 1st string and the 4th fret. Now I'm strumming through these. I'm going to add the previous note too. Look at that. Again, another way to play a D. And it sounds really great when we go to that open tuning, right? And we can just strum between them and get the little variations. Maybe extend this pinky out. And we're just focusing on a D chord. That's all we've got so far. And we're already getting some good sounds in there. So let's go through some other chords that we could play that I think are really, really important. Let's go ahead and take a look at an A major chord. An A major chord, we could voice it really easily, just like this. It's pretty great, you know, usually when we play an A, we don't play it this way, right? So we've got our middle finger on the 4th string and the 5th fret. My index finger is on the 3rd string and the 4th. And I've got my 3rd finger, 2nd string, 5th, pinky tucked right behind that. So right away, each time we learn one of these chords, we can instantly apply it. Just strum it really delicately. And go to that A major chord. I love it. You got to give yourself options, and we'd like to be able to play these things in several different voicings. So I think we'll stick with that for our A major chord. Now, we got to know how to play a C major chord as well, right? Just so that way when we're inspired and we're going through everything, we really feel like we can play a lot of these chords. Now look at the voicing of this guy. Really kind of got a lot going on there. We could probably omit some of those notes, which we'll try in a moment, but I've got my 3rd finger on the 5th string in the 3rd fret. I've got my index finger on the 4th string in the 2nd. My pinky is on the 2nd string in the 3rd, and then that middle finger, look at that. Really nice sounding chord there. And what's great about this is I can take this chord and I could play it much like I played a C major chord a little bit ago. Or an A major chord a little bit ago, I should say. Look at this is how I'm doing my C major. So right next to each other, I could take an A major, and I've got my C major. All of these are really great ways that I can play my chord. Now if I take an A major, and suddenly maybe that's not the option that I want, and I want to try an A minor. Look at how I can play that A minor. I can bar my 1st finger straight across up to the 4th string, put my middle finger down there. And that might work better with my C major, you know, if I'm trying to blend these things together. And what we're searching for here is a really easy way to get lost in the sounds that we get when we tune these guitars into these tunings. And a nice way for us to try something different, but just have a simple guide to go through when we try these at home. That's really what we're looking for. So what do we have thus far? We've got a couple of versions to play our D, or ways to play our D chord. We've got this really cool A major chord. We've even talked about A minor for a moment to make sure we get him down. We've covered our C major, all the way up here. What if we talk about an E minor chord? Now when I'm playing that E minor, I've got my middle finger, this is the way I'm choosing to voice this, got my middle finger on the 4th string in the 2nd. I've got my 3rd finger on the 2nd string in the 2nd fret as well, and my pinky's tucked right behind it. I'm leaving that 3rd string open. Leaving that G string open, that's my 3rd. Now with that chord, I can voice an E minor a couple of different ways as well. I can put it like this, where I'm in a bar. I've got my 1st finger all the way on that 2nd fret, or barred all the way to the 4th string on the 2nd fret with my 3rd finger there, and then I'm going to put my pinky. So all of these are going to lead us to come up with things on your own, and we can mix together. These are very common chords that we would typically learn in our open position on the guitar. But what I like to do with these sometimes is let's take this D chord. Maybe throw in a little variation there, and I'm just going to move this around. And for you beginners out there, look how nice that is, just to take a simple chord and move one finger. And you can start with something really basic and go through all these variations of a D chord. Take a look at that. So I'm going to start with got my pinky playing on the 4th fret. I'm going to bring it out to the 5th fret. Variations there. Now we can do a nice sounding chord there. Really simple. I'm just covering on the 5th position. I've got my middle finger on the 6th string and my 3rd finger on the high E. Moving that 1st finger down to the 4th fret there. Only playing 2 notes. Getting some nice sounds with some simple movement. Let's do it again together. Starting on that 4th. Bringing my pinky out to that 5th. We're going to go back to the 4th, and then we're going to go to an open chord. But we don't play anything. Now we're going to go to that 5th position where we're covering the 6th string and the high E string. Sound. I'm going to bring that 1st finger down to the 4th fret on the high E string. Maybe I'll go, can't really hear it, but it's subtle, you know, it's kind of doubling one of those notes in there where I put that 3rd finger on the 2nd string. And at any given time, we could get really fun and throw in some harmonics just straight across, you know, on the 7th fret, let's say. Just raking them with my thumb. The 12th fret. You're getting these really full, beautiful sounds out of the acoustic guitar. So that's one fun variation that we could do. You know, when we talk about notes that are played this way, I think what's cool is sometimes doubling notes that in that kind of a fashion. So what I did there is I left that 3rd finger on the high E string, and I put my middle finger on the 4th, and with my right hand, here's a neat technique you can try to do. It's just maybe doubling with the thumb, or I have my thumb, or hitting 2 notes in unison, I should say. You got your thumb on the 4th string and your middle finger hitting that high E. If I strum it, it still sounds cool, but I'm going to take it from 5 down to 4, down to 2. Maybe pivot that low string in there. And another way to get some fun sounds off the guitar. So let's talk about some other tunings or other chords that we could play really fast, and then we'll round this out with some other options that we could do with them. So in addition to that, we should know how to play some G chords in this position, right? And that's really easy. One finger, we love that. Anything done with one finger, in this case, we're going for it. That's on the 2nd string in the 2nd fret. That's my G chord. Now I can add some notes here. And I like this kind of fingering, you know, we gotta get that pinky in there. From here I can go to that D chord. You get a nice G to D transition. Again, I'll play that one more time. Maybe add that high note on there. If we wanted to go all by itself in the G this way, to this D. So you see you got lots of options to switch between these chords. One finger. Gonna go to that D. And for your beginners out there, this is really fun and simple to do, and we're getting some really good sounds out of the guitar. We're just kind of having a nice time, just taking it easy. I think when we do these tunings, you know, it's important to have a basis of some of the basic chords behind you, so that way you feel like, you know, we've sat down with our guitars and we've all played G's and D's together, and E minors and C's and all that. So if you've got a couple of them under your belt, you've got enough to work with. And in some cases, we can play notes in same positions and kind of hit them at the same time maybe, but we're going to keep it really simple. So if you were to take your G chord, and in this case when we're strumming our G chord with our index finger, if I remove my index finger and I just strum these top 3 strings, I get my nice suspended G sound. But if we want to cover the guitar, you know, a little bit more range and get more body out of the sound, we could play a G sus2 like this, where I could put my index finger on the 3rd string and the 2nd fret, and I could go to the 5th fret with my pinky. There we go, and I got a nice sounding suspended G chord. And listen to that when we go into the D chord. That's really nice sounding. Just a casual strum going between my suspended G chord and my D chord. Now if I use my index finger, play my G that way, you can hear that subtle difference between the sounds. And now I'm going to go to my D this way. So when you vary your chords just a little bit, doesn't take much. We get some nice chord sounds that we can play, and we've got some options with the chords that we could use there. So everybody enjoy the DVD set. I'm glad to be a part of it, and I'll see you next time.